Good evening, everyone. This is Antoinette Harrell. I would like to introduce the moderator tonight that will moderate the Kentwood Mayoral debate. Excuse me, tonight. Extremely tired. But I'm going to turn it over to the moderator for tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Bobby Ginn. I'll be your moderator for the town of Kentwood mayoral debate. Of course, there's a runoff here with Mayor Bates and former Mayor Miss Irma Gordon. Today is November 30th, 2022, starting at 6 p.m. Certainly, we want to just give a few reminders during this debate that our candidates keep in mind that we're going to be respectful to each other's comments and the opportunity to be able to give each one the opportunity to answer the question successfully. We'll try to keep the answers to these questions maybe under 1 minute. You'll be given a particular time frame from here there, whether it be from Miss Harrell or from myself. Then we'll move on to the next question. At this current moment, Miss
Mr.
Gordon,
Moderator, may I please say something? That
sure.
Miss Gordon is not here, but we must move forward. And as soon as she come in, we can let her in. But in the meantime, we will move forward. Thank you.
Okay, sure, certainly. Thank you, Ms. Harrell, for that. Well, starting off, good evening, Mayor Bates.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you for asking.
Good, certainly. And as Ms. Harrell said, as soon as Ms. Irma is past the technical difficulties that she's experiencing, we're going to allow her in. But moving forward, Mayor Bates, the first question that's on our list today is simply why is it that you want to be the next elected mayor of the town of Kentwood?
Uh, Brother Moderator, I feel that when it comes to leading, we've shown that we are smart, we're strong, and we're prepared to lead with a purpose, with a passion, and with new partnerships, also with integrity and honesty, which is of foremost importance to all of our citizens in Kentwood. And in these times, experience really matters. We have experience, we have equity, sweat equity, if you allow me to say, and time spent putting in the work to make Kentwood a better place for all of our citizens. And we have measures in place to address some of the issues that our citizens have discussed and are facing right now. And we take into consideration that we have those partnerships now. And if we can come to the table and sit around and have some roundtable discussions on how we can approach improving our processes and procedures, we can go to the next level. I'm a man of faith and I'm full of confidence that we can do this together if we choose to do so. And during this time of where we've been, we've had resiliency during the pandemic, during the hurricane. And so we learned a lot from that. And we're committed to stand firm for the people of Kentwood. We want to place our family values and our community and safety at the forefront of what we do from this point on. And we want our citizens to know that we want to move Kentwood forward. And we're trying to revitalize our downtown area to just make it this place beautiful and a place where people want to come.
So we appreciate your answer to that question. The second question that's on our ballot is what particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as the newly elected mayor if elected?
Okay, well, I am the current sitting mayor until December the 10th if the citizens say otherwise. So I have 4 years of mayoral experience under my belt at this point. Plus, I served as principal of Kentwood High for 13 years as the principal, handling budgets and handling the finances of various different departments at the school. Also, I was an assistant principal for 7 years at Kentwood High. So I dealt with people on both of those levels, actually the last 3 levels. And I also coached basketball, football, track. And so I had to handle finances, budgets, people, attitudes, and everything you can name and make relationships with people in order to build a stronger school, build a stronger basketball, football program, and bring this community together around that school.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much. Is Miss Gordon with us? Are we able to put the camera on
Mr.
her for a moment?
And Mr. Moderator, I see someone that is showing their name as Janice William. Could you please tell me if that is Miss Gordon, please.
I can imagine she's probably setting it up for Miss Gordon. Janice, is Miss Gordon there with you?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I I was on the phone with her, and she's on the other line, and I'm talking to her now through here. I don't know if you could hear, but she's having difficulty
Yeah,
logging
I'm
on her.
sorry,
I,
ma'am. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm
I'm getting
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry. We got to move on. I you can text me, but I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. We have to move on to the next question.
What I would say is, if possible, have Miss Gordon to come to you, and she can get on so she'll be able to be viewed. Okay,
I
but we're going to have to exit at this time and proceed. Thank you, Miss Williams.
Mr. Moderator,
Okay.
please move
Okay.
forward.
All right. Mr. Bates,
Yes, sir.
going over to question three
Miss
of this particular setting that we're doing is, how do you plan to deal with the economic problems there in the town of Kentwood as it regards to tax fairness? Um, for instance, property, income, sales tax, infrastructure, those type taxes.
Currently, as far as property tax, we're using a third party vendor, and we're looking at perhaps getting someone else to do our property taxes for us. Because once you experience those late fees, we understand that it gets extremely high with the percentage that is attached to it. So as soon as we can find someone whose taxes or the late fees are not as much as they are, then we would take care of the property tax. The sales tax in the town, I think, are pretty fair because our town has to have those revenues in order to operate. And I think it's fair enough right now because uh, if we don't get revenue from our sales tax, from our bill payments and things of that nature, we won't be able to move Kentwood forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Question four is, what will you do to clean up the litter and trash that is around the town of Kentwood?
Well, it starts with number one, as our chairperson who's putting on this committee has said, enforcing the ordinances is already on the books. However, we're short staffed in the office as far as with the police staff, and Chief Calzaroni is hiring as many people as he can. And we're just going to have to start enforcing the ordinances on the book and finding the people. But that is a process, and it comes with having the manpower to do so. And hopefully, we can get our uh, a constable involved, and he has done some things as far as having those who have tickets and fines and that can't pay them, they get out and do the community service work. But also, it just comes down to the citizens of the community having pride in this town and in their community and cleaning up their area. Over here on 12th Street, where I live, I remember my mom, bless her heart, her and Miss Ermely would keep this street clean themselves. So it starts with the citizens themselves wanting to see their area, their street, their particular property clean, free of debris and litter. So it starts with our citizens themselves.
Okay, yes, sir. We certainly appreciate your answer there. There's a blight problem there in Kentwood and within the city limits, and we're wanting to know, how would you address that?
Well, once again, there's ordinances on the books. We have started to get and as citizens call in or bring us those addresses or pictures, we get the addresses of the property owners. And if we have to go out and clean that property up, we attach it to their taxes and they have to pay that. It gets a little cumbersome for us because we don't have enough workers as far as maintenance workers, and we're working on that through our maintenance superintendent to correct that problem and get some skilled people in here. So if we have to clean up those properties, we will do so. Also, we have been very blessed that when we do send out these letters, most of the people, when we let them know that their property is in disrepair or in blight, they will try their best to clean those things up. Downtown, look at our old buildings there. We're trying to revitalize that. So some of that stuff will go away, but it comes with educating the citizens, enforcing the ordinance, and hopefully we can get everybody on board to do so.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Going into our sixth question, you've mentioned about growing the town. The question is, how do you, as the next elected mayor, plan to bring more businesses and industries into the town of Kentwood in order to grow jobs and in order to increase the tax base there in the town?
We'll go back to creating those partnerships for those who are coming to the table, sitting down and talking to us. We have good relationships right now with our Tangipahoa Parish government, the Capital Region Planning Commission, which I sit on that board there, Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, and what the parish government is doing, because there are so many businesses coming through that I-12, I-55 corridor. They're looking to send businesses this way. However, when we go back to talking about the blight problem, we're talking about the litter problem, we have to make it conducive and make it a place of appearance where people want to come. Because once again, if you're on that I-12, I-55 corridor, you have access to south, north, east, and west. Here, you'll be able to go north and south on an interstate. So people are coming. We've had conversations with different people with interest in wanting to bring businesses here. And what drives our community, and it always has driven Kentwood, is our small businesses. Some have been here for a long time. And if we can get small businesses, if we're fortunate to get some of the larger industries or businesses coming in, we'll be extremely fortunate to have that tax base come to us. But it starts with us cleaning up a town, like we were saying earlier, and marketing ourselves in strategies and talking to people and creating those partnerships that will be able to bring them to us and sit down at the table and talk about what is it that Kentwood can do for them.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Bates. Longer question here, question 7. It asks us, given the many needs of the town and the complex factors that go into making the property taxes so high, it can be argued that cutting expenses is not quite enough, and increasing revenue generation will be necessary. The question is, how do you propose to increase revenue to cover the expenses and thereby decrease taxes?
Well, once again, bringing in businesses as we sit down to the table. The more businesses you have, the more tax base you have from the business sector, and it's not always on the citizens. Of course, when they go to these stores and these places that they frequent, we ask you to spend at home. We go to Hammond, we go to A Meat, but if we can spend at home as much as we can, then that is revenue for the town. And decreasing the tax base for our town and increasing the revenue, that is one way. Spend at home so that we can have the funding and have the surplus financially to do some things, to be able to cut some of the things that our citizens are talking about. But inflation is happening all around us since COVID, since the hurricane. There's an inflation that's all over the nation. So we have to be mindful that we want the best things, just like when it comes to our school systems, and we want the best schools. We want all of those things to be great, but we have to pay our way also.
Thank you, sir. You know, you've mentioned earlier in the beginning of your background and your work that you do. If you can you elaborate on the positions that you've held throughout your career, and what influences has it had that would help you as mayor? You know, what skills did you learn from each of those positions and the wisdom that you've gained from them over time?
I started out the journey in Portland, Oregon as a project manager for Synergy Consulting Company as an engineer on lead project, updating a database there for all of the dams in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. And I had about 5 people working under me. So I've had leadership skills since I left college, been in leadership positions rather. I moved back here in 1994. Took a job with the school system, and I started coaching girls basketball, football. So leading young people, mentoring young people. And we moved from that 7 years later. I went into administration, I think in 2003, so that we became, so to speak, the administrative assistant, which is basically the same thing as assistant principal, while I was going back to school to get that administrative degree, my master's degree. And so we started working in administration in 2003 as the assistant principal administrative assistant. and dealing with the public when you have to discipline students, talking to parents, and making sure that they felt that our school was safe and that we were doing the right things for their kids. And that school is a very vital part to our community, which put me in the forefront of having to deal with our community. So I've been dealing with the community for a long time. In '03, I believe it was, I take that back, in 2001, 99, 2000, I became the principal. No, not 99, 2009, I became the principal of Kentwood High after taking our girls basketball team to semifinals in the state championship. And we became the principal at Kentwood High. And we did that for 13 years. And we took the school during my tenure from a low D to being 1.5 points from becoming a B school. And in leadership, you have to know and have your finger on the pulse of your school, or pulse of the community, to know perhaps maybe somebody else can come along and take it, because we became a little stagnant, which prompted me, when this new position came open at central office, that I interviewed for, and they hired me for this position as a hearing officer. And what I do now is I go from schools from the Amite area all the way back to Kentwood. So I assist 10 schools with their culture, their climate, with their discipline of students, and any other needs that they need me to come in with my expertise after being a principal and administrator for the past, might as well say, 20 years. I go in with my expertise and help those principals and try my best to keep as many students in school and off the streets with truancy and delinquency. So we're doing those things, and I think that has helped me grow as a person, because you have to be sensitive, you have to be empathetic and sympathetic to the needs of not only the student and the parent, but you have to understand the needs of the school and this community also.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor Bates. The next question is, you've served as mayor, currently serving as the current mayor there in Kentwood. And the question here is just, what are people saying about your legacy as mayor? And also, what are some of the more concrete accomplishments that you've done or have completed in your tenure as mayor?
Well, Mr. Gann, when you sit in a leadership position, you're going to hear the positives, you're going to hear the negatives, and I appreciate both, because they help to refine what you think and how you operate and the things that you do moving forward. I've heard positive comments about what we have done in the community. I know that our infrastructure is getting better. We don't have as much water running down the streets as we once did. We're fixing the leaks, but of course our infrastructure is old, and I'll get into that when we talk about what we're going to do and are doing about that. But the negative comments I've heard, I need to be more visible. I need to be more forceful with a lot of things. Some of those things we can work on, but when you're leading, I think someone has to have the ability to stay calm and remain calm no matter what the situation is. Will there be times where you need to raise or lower your voice? Of course, that is always the case. But I like to think that we have stabilized the economy here in Kentwood. We stabilized the budget at the mayor's office, at the town office. We have gotten new people. We have gotten our new maintenance director, and things are on the upward swing. They're doing a fine job in the office with streamlining and refining processes and procedures that will ultimately help our citizens when they come in the office, to where we're not guessing what we're doing. And that's still a process in work. And hopefully we can be able to continue to do so if elected, to streamline those processes and have the things in hand. So when people come in and ask what I need to do for this situation or this situation, we'll be able to give them that information and explain it, because we're in the business of customer service. And we talk about this in the office. When someone comes to the office, they may be irate, they may be upset, but we have to learn how to handle that situation with customer service, with sympathy and empathy for the person that's on the other side of the counter, because a lot of the times, not a lot of times, those are the people who pay our salaries. So we have to remember those things. And I think from the positive sides, we have kind of galvanized and brought this community together on both sides of the fence, where we can come and we can sit down, and hopefully we can implement that roundtable discussion where we can move Kentwood forward together through healthy dialogue. And notice I said healthy dialogue, because we're not all are going to agree on the things that come to the table, the things that are being said. But if we do what's best for all of the citizens in Kentwood, then we can see a better Kentwood, and we can leave a better Kentwood as a legacy to our next generation.
Thank you for your answer there, Mayor Bates.
And I'm sorry,
Go
things
ahead,
that
go
we
ahead.
are doing, and I know you mentioned that, and let me piggyback on that. We're trying to win an award with the state with the funds for our infrastructure to get our sewer and our water systems upgraded. And we're in the process, and we use some of our American Rescue Plan funds to buy points, because you have to be awarded this, and we don't want to fall short on it. And hopefully somewhere soon we'll know if we got one or the other or both of those, wastewater and our water system, approved through this grant, because it's going to take about $4 million to do both. We also are in conversations with this regional sewer treatment plant. So that's some of the things that we're involved in, and some of the things that we're doing. And we're looking at trying to get a new utility billing system so that we can be able to have programs and be able to notify our citizens when there's power outages or there's sewer problems, and it will allow them to have the features to be able to get text messages, get alerts. They'll be able to do bill payment online, because our third-party vendor right now, it's a little expensive. So they'll be able to do the bill payment online, do automatic draft for payments. They'll know where we're working at that day through alerts, through those text messages. But we're going to need them, if we're able and successful to bring this online in the next fiscal year, to provide us all of the information. If they want to stay in contact with that office and know what's going on in town, this will be one way to do so. We also want to have an early warning system, a siren that will go off. So if there's a tornado spotted that's coming, bad weather is impending, we can sound that siren so everybody will know. And we used to have that fire whistle where if something was going on or a fire was going on, you would know it all over town. So we need a new early warning system. That fire whistle will be able to let us know. Also, we can send those alerts through that new billing system once that comes online. We are started to update MLK Park. We're refurbishing the courts. We're gonna have new nets, new courts. The basketball courts is going to be done. We'll be looking at playground equipment. We also had partnerships with the Tangible Parish government to where we were able to go over and beautify the park with trees and landscaping. So we're doing something to make our area look better and more inviting to people. And that's what we're trying to do, Mr. Ginn, just make it inviting and want people to come here. And once again, it has to look good. We talked about the blighted property. And if we do our job as city leaders and civic and government leaders, then perhaps the citizens will see us leading from that area and get on board and do the things that are necessary.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bates. You just mentioned several goals that you have for the town of Kentwood if reelected. You know, the question now is number 10, what would be your biggest obstacle that may get in the way of you accomplishing these goals that you've mentioned? And how do you plan to address that obstacle?
In any endeavor that involves trying to upgrade, to purchase, to build, you always worry about where is the revenue going to come from. And so we have to look at, without putting more burden on the citizens, which is those taxes that we're talking about, without doing that, we have to look for grants. We may have to secure a grant writer, because our office staff, we get a little swamped there. So if we can secure a grant writer, so when those things come, they can write these grants and we can secure those finances. And right now we're in a pretty good place financially. So if we can somehow get some grants and some outside help from the state to improve whatever we're trying to do, build our infrastructure, then that is one way. And then if that doesn't work, then we may have to float a bond that will go for several years to improve ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves also before we can talk about someone else investing in us. So that is one of the biggest hurdles always in government is where's the money going to come from? How are we going to pay for this? How are we going to do that without putting more burden on the citizens of the town?
All right, thank you. Do you support the creation of local historic districts? Kentwood has a lot of history there. Do you support the creation of local historic districts?
We're actually doing that through our Louisiana Main Street. Main Street downtown has become one of those historical preservation districts, and we're doing stuff to revitalize downtown. We have some of the old antebellum homes here. If we can get the owners of those to kind of spruce up their properties. But once again, we're asking those who probably no longer live here to come in and improve their properties, but they also have to see improvement from those of us who live here every day. And we went back to the blighted property, we went back to the trash. And if they see us building up Kentwood and we're getting those businesses to come in, then perhaps we can get them to upgrade their properties and make this place beautiful as it once was. And we have some beautiful homes here, but we're going to have to upgrade ourselves in order to get others to buy and have interest in us.
Okay.
So I guess to say that, yes, I'm all for creating those historical preservation districts and keeping our history here in Kentwood, because Kentwood High School, there's a lot of history there with that building. It's a beautiful building as they upgraded the new windows in it, and it looks wonderful if you pass by and see it. And you can see there's not many school buildings like that. So that is a historical building, I think built in 1940, 42, and it's centered around the first building burned, and the building that was built there now is centered around those steps that were there. They kept the old steps for the old building. So if you see the cracks and the weathering in that building has been there since 40, 42, and it's the newer structure, but those steps have been there even longer, and it's just a beautiful place. And once again, if we can improve our area through us keeping our properties clean and making this place look beautiful, then everybody else will buy into what we're doing.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Bates. The 12th question that we want to ask is a tough question, but it is realistically something that needs to be addressed. According to local poverty data, Kentwood has had a 41.2% poverty rate there in the town. What is it that you can possibly do if re-elected as mayor that could eradicate, this poverty rate in the town of Kentwood?
It starts with education, and right now, when you look at our students coming to schools, we have to be diligent as citizens in getting our students to read on grade level, which is very key and paramount to erasing any kind of poverty in any area. Number two, we may have to create some leadership and mentorship programs to where we can mentor those students. The schools have very great programs that they can go in and leave there once they graduate with welding certificates, electrical, carpentry, even those programs such as Microsoft Word, and they already are viable to the working community. And what we also have to help them understand is there's more to life than just Kentwood. Go off to college, experience the work world, bring back those ideas, bring yourself back and become a vital part of growing Kentwood. Because if we all just stay here, then we only have those small ideas. So we need our young people to get involved. We need them to be mentored and trained. We need to send them off to colleges and into the work world so they can come back with fresh ideas and continue to move Kentwood forward. But it starts with education. It starts with mentoring and tutoring our students, and coming out of poverty it's tough. That's why, it's so systemic and it lasts so long. People have got to want to do a lot of the things for themselves. You can't just sit around and wait on government to do those things for you. And that's one of the biggest things biggest myth that the government is going to get us out of it. We're going to have to pull up our bootstraps and do some things ourselves to make ourselves come up. And a lot of that stuff becomes intrinsic motivation. A lot of people are not motivated to want to do better because all they've seen all their lives is right in front of them. And we have to make sure that they experience more than just Kentwood as they're coming through schools, through field trips. Hey, this internet thing is great. Show them the positive side, because everybody, all the families, they have iPhones, they have access to iPads. Show them more than just TikTok and Facebook and all this. Expose them to all of the things that they need to see that goes on in this great, big, vast world of ours.
Thank you for your answers there. The next question that we have, Mr. Bates, is two-part. The first part would be addressing the communication issue at City Hall between Town Council and particularly your office. How can you end that particular non-communication standard that's there? How can that be improved?
Well, one is with the council members and through the mayor's office is once again through healthy dialogue. A lot of the times what people don't see is the communication lines may have been broken, and you try to repair those things one way or the other. But you can improve that through text messages, newsletters, phone calls, emails, and create that dialogue with them so that you can have a healthier working relationship with the town council. And what the town council members and anyone that's out there has to know, that communication goes both ways. It's not a one-way street. So if you're privy to information, you need to contact the mayor, let the mayor know. If the mayor's privy to information, he'll contact you and let you know. But in contacting you, when we send something to you, you have to respond so we'll know you got it. If you don't ever respond to those text messages, those emails, we don't know if you're interested in it or if you got it or what. So it goes both ways. We have to communicate with one another in a healthy environment, and communicating with the citizens. Once again, we talk about the new utility billing system. We'll be able to send out alerts, start the newsletter, get that out to the citizens, have roundtable discussions with those who are interested in seeing Kentwood grow and thrive, bring them to the table with their ideas. And once again, once we get those ideas, you send that out and say, hey, we met with this group and these are the things that were brought up. How can we as a town council, how can we as the mayor's office help to bring some of these things to fruition, and not just wait till Thursday night to bring ideas? Let's have a dialogue before Thursday night, before town council meeting, outside of town council meeting where it's legal to do so. If you don't have a quorum, let's talk. And talking means you share your ideas. And just because yours may not take off or get voted down, we don't take our toys and run home. We still try to do what's best for the entire community.
Okay. Thank you so much. Next question is, being that you answered in that way, do you believe that it would be good to ask the departments there in City Hall, each department, to offer a report, whether it be in a certain systemic way or time frame? And would you be transparent with the public in regards to that?
Yes, sir. Always will be transparent. Right now,
before we start, Mr. Bates, Mayor Bates, give me one moment. I want to welcome Ms. Gordon. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, can't hear you, Ms. Gordon.
Turn your mic on.
See if we can get you unmuted. Try now. Not yet.
Not yet.
I think it should be, if you move your cursor down to the bottom left.
And I can't unmute her.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No.
Okay, sir,
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Good evening.
thank you. Good evening to everyone.
Good
Yes,
evening.
ma'am. All right. We're
And
on.
please excuse me for my lateness. Thank you.
No problem, Ms. Gordon. We understand technical difficulties. We're on question 14. So you get a chance to answer this one along with Mayor Bates. First posed to Mayor Bates. In regards to that question that you just answered, we want to know that whether or not you think it's a good idea to allow each department or require each department in City Hall to give certain reports, and if those reports will be transparent with the public.
Everything in city government is public knowledge. And during our town council meetings, yes, we have kind of started that with our maintenance department superintendent giving updates and reports, and we can continue to branch off from that and give those reports each month, let you know what the revenue. Of course, the council members already get financial reports each month, but yes, we can have offices report out what's going on, and I see no problem with that. That is a part of the transparency of city government.
Okay. All right. Certainly. Let me give that first part of that question to you, Ms. Garden, if it'd be okay with you. And we're discussing here now the issues of not communication or non-communication there in the City Hall, and how is it in ways that we can strengthen or improve that between City Hall and the mayor's office. Giving you an opportunity to answer that, and then any rebuttals that Mayor Bates may have.
Yes, sir. Communication is very important in City Hall, amongst the workers and amongst the elected officials. Without communication, you can't get any results. So yes, I will allow communication through the workers, City Hall staff, as well as elected officials. We must have communication, open line, so that everyone will know the pages that we're on and what we need to get done.
Okay, thank you so much. And as far as transparency, public wanted to know whether or not you would allow or require those in these departments to require or to issue certain reports and be transparent to the public about them.
Yes, sir, I will. It's absolutely a must that we be transparency, because that way, and everyone would know what to expect, what is going on, what we have at hand. Yes, those reports will be very important. Yes, we absolutely must be transparent.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go into not our last question, but we're going to begin to just give an interaction between the two of you to see your views on these issues. The first here is how can we improve the communication with those who are disabled in our community? Say, for instance, if they're blind or if they're hearing difficulties, deaf and dumb, how do we improve that communication? And we'll allow Mayor Bates. You still there with us, Mayor Bates? I think we may have lost him. Ms. Garden, would you like to answer that?
Yes, sir. We could improve the communication amongst the disabled, handicapped, the sick, the blind, the ones that cannot get out to our meetings. Of course, we can go with our media. We have Facebook. We have Facebook, and I know everybody cannot get on to Facebook. So, we had some other form, maybe like a little monthly newsletter, and I think that had came up once before. Maybe it can be just one sheet, and then we can have a call-in number. We can have a call-in number to City Hall, the mayor's number or special number. Call in, ask for information, any questions about the meetings. Also, we could have open door policy. Anyone want to come in and sit down and talk with the mayor about the meetings, about any kind of situation, any problem. We have to reach everyone. We have to do our best to reach everyone. So I'm in for that number, that telephone number, where you can sit at home and call in if you're unable to come in. Yes, sir.
All right, great. Thank you. Mayor Bates, do I need to repeat that for you?
I heard you. I didn't. You may not have been able to see me, but I was able to see you. And
okay.
Reason. So yes, we once again the newsletter. the roundtable discussions, the call out system that we're talking about with our new billing program, the text alerts, all of those things can help our handicapped citizens be aware of what's going on in town, what's going on in the community, and having those roundtable discussions. And once those discussions have happened, those go out in the newsletter to educate the citizens on what's going on and what we're trying to do for our community, for them.
Okay, thank you so much. We want to revisit just a few questions so that we can get both of the candidates' viewpoints on them. Being that Ms. Irma has joined us at this time, we won't revisit all of them, but just a few, in particular that are of supreme importance to many of in the town of Kentwood, many of the citizens. And one of these here is, Ms. Irma, we're going to pose this to you as far as your careers in the past and your skill set. What has how have your careers and your education and your background prepared you to be a mayor? You've served as mayor before, and what of that wisdom and knowledge has boosted you to this point to where you can serve again?
Well, the love for my community, the love for the people, and the fact that I like to serve and I like to help in situations. Uh, when I go around, ride around, walk around, and see a need, I'm inclined to help with that need, whatever the need is. Um, I've taught school. I've worked with young people. I've worked with our citizens. I've worked diligently at City Hall as an elected official. I've met so many elected officials across the state of Louisiana and other states, and they all, just like I, are concerned about the people in the town and the needs. So my background in serving, is what I love doing. I love helping, and it's hard for me to sit back knowing things need to be done, and see them not being done, and not say anything about it. So the fact that I love to serve, I love to help, I love Kentwood, it boosts me. It makes me want to do. It inspires me. It motivates me to want to do more if I can. So
Okay.
I'm thankful for my background as a teacher, as a coach, as an elected official, and all of those years of service have gone right here into Kentwood. Though I branched out, helping the parish some, helping on the state level some, I always come back home where it started. So I put more into home here in Kentwood than I have anywhere else. And I'm proud to say that I've done pretty good.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Any rebuttals or anything to that, Mayor Bates? You'd like to expound
No,
on
sir.
how your education can help in any way?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Going into our next question that we want to be implemented is, holding a full-time job, Mayor Bates. How would you be able to balance the two as mayor and holding a full-time job?
Once again, the mayor's job right now is a part-time job. However, the job that I now have with Tangipahoa Parish School System has me with more flexibility to be able to schedule, to be able to meet with people more so than if I was the principal of the school. So as I move around the community from schools to schools and do my job, my full-time job, and it gives me the ability to schedule, to meet with people. I'm only a phone call away. So it's even more easier for me to get to City Hall than it was when I was only 2 or 3 blocks away. So that is not a issue for me. I don't know how big of an issue it is for the citizens, and I'm always available through phone calls, through text messages, and we would set down an appointment. And I was just out this morning because someone called me about an issue they were having. So we went there and we took care of the issue, and we're moving forward. So I don't see it as a hindrance for me or for the community of Kentwood. And that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mayor Bates. Ms. Gordon would simply like to ask about your availability and how it could be advantageous to your term as mayor if elected.
Yes, sir. Right now I am retired. I have all day. To be a though the mayor's position is part time, I work. If I'm going to work, I'm going to give it all I got. So to me, it's full time. I will be a full time mayor in City Hall 5 days a week, even on weekends if I'm needed. Uh, I cannot see how I cannot see, and if I may say this, how any one person can have a full time job and also have another full time job. Because if you're getting paid over here for this job, you can't be doing this job at the same time. Um, we call that like double dipping. You know, I'm paying you for this job and I'm paying you for this job at the same time. So I don't know how that can happen. But yes, sir, I will be a full-time mayor every day of the week. Yes, sir. I can do that. I have all availability to be there.
Okay,
And
thank
Mr.
you.
Gann, if I may have a rebuttal to that.
You do have an
When I
opportunity
first
to.
took office, that issue came to the ethics board, and we had to. They did a full blown investigation into uh, just those things that she's talking about, having a full time job and working over here. So all of the time that I spent at City Hall had to be documented. I had to make sure that when I left my job, I had to let my supervisor know through messages. So they subpoenaed his information, and he was able to show where I had taken my personal time from my job that I have accrued to be able to come to the town of Kentwood. And if we're going to talk about loving Kentwood, I love Kentwood. Love it. Been back here 28 years. And what I do for this community, I think we've done a great job. But all of that being said, the ethics board ruled in favor that it was not a problem for me to hold that full-time job, as long as when I came to the city hall during the course of my full-time job, that I took my personal time, which I have done and will continue to do when needed.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your rebuttal there. Going into a new age and within which we're in now, technologically being advanced is something that all towns are moving toward, being tech savvy. And the citizens want to know basically you guys as candidates, your technical education, what is it that you have that makes you tech savvy? Do you believe that being technologically advanced is important as mayor? We'll allow you, Mayor Bates, to answer this first. How do you feel about being technologically advanced as a mayor, and do you see it as important?
It is important. That's a lot of the communication has to be done that way. And a lot of the times, I don't always like having the Zoom meeting. Sometimes it's best to sit down in person and have those meetings, but you have to be technologically sound and tech savvy to be able to navigate in these days and time. And it is very important to be able to do so. And we get updated skills through our technology department, through our job. And a lot of these things I'm able to navigate and work on simply because of the area that I work in now through the school system and being able to keep in contact with people through the school system, people personally. So you have to be able to navigate technology, and most systems in a lot of the areas that are way advanced, far more advanced than what we are, they operate basically through computer. So you have to know what's going on. You have to be tech savvy and know what's going on.
Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Gordon, if you'd like to give a response as well.
Yes, sir. Tech savvy is very important. Being able to set text and send messages out to individuals, especially your council members, your workers across the day, on weekends, even through the night, is very, very important. And it's a fast way, one of the fastest ways you can get the message to them. It's a very good way to keep the line of communication open, which is very important. You can send a text right quick just like that, and you can get a response just like that. So technology is very important these days. It's very important because it can help keep us updated. It can help keep the community updated. Everyone involved updated. You can pull up Facebook. You can pull up the town web page, any web page, just like that. Being able to text our workers, our elected officials, our citizens is very important, and it's a fast way of communication. It opens those lines of communication open. Keep it open. That's why I don't understand why it was a problem with communicating these last 4 years with the council members and the staff at Kentwood City Hall.
Okay. Are you saying that that wasn't communicated, Ms. Gordon?
I'm saying the line of communication was not open like it should have been amongst our elected officials, nor the community, nor the workers.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
when it comes to technology, what things, Ms. Gordon, do you think you can put in place there in City Hall and even for the town that could bring us into this new age where technology is more vast?
Yes, we could. Well, one thing we need to put. We have computers. You know, we could even have a couple of computers or iPads to the side where our older citizens may want to come in to even kind of learn a couple of steps as to how they can learn how to work that iPad or that computer in order to keep up with the town news, what's going on in Kentwood. That's one way. Another way is we need a system where our people can come into City Hall and pay their utility bills just like that. We don't have that. You can go online right now and pay it, but we need something right there in City Hall where they come in and flip that card. We'll be able to take their utility payment right there. That's another. Right now, our council people have iPads. Each one of them have iPads. Yes, sir. But they're not using them like they should be used. They're not using them the reason that they was bought. So the line of communication is not as open as it should be, though they have iPads. Now, just our elected officials have iPads, but we have workers who we can put iPads in their hands, a couple of their hands as well, to help keep them more intact with us. City Hall is equipped with technology, but it does need updating. In a lot of ways, it needs updating.
Okay. Mayor Bates, any technology that you see that would help City Hall, and do you agree that technology is in place and then being improperly used?
I agree that it's important. We did at the behest of the council members wanted to move to the 21st century with the iPads. We purchased those. Now, when we sent out the agendas and all of that through their emails, that's what those iPads are for. They were supposed to bring them each night. That did not take place. That was addressed through Ms. Harrell. That was addressed through Ms. Gordon just now in her statement. So the technology is there for them to use, and getting that information out to you. And I mentioned it earlier. We're in the process of a new utility billing program, once again, that will help us communicate with our citizens, make paying their bills a little bit easier, online, automatic draft, and it's not charging them that big fee for swiping your card or paying online. So we're moving to a better program. And if we are allowed to do so, I think we will be back in there and we'll be able to communicate even better, not only with the council members, but also with our citizens.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor Bates. Another question that's been posed, citizens are asking, Ms. Irma, in regards to the $40,000 of equipment that was purchased by Mr. David Sellers, or is it being used in this current period?
The equipment that was purchased during my mayor's watch?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We bought a dump truck. We bought police cars. We bought a backhoe. We bought a fire truck. We bought these things because we needed those things for our town to function well. We had a dump truck with a half a bottom or almost no bottom in it. We had police cars that were stopping every which way, just stopping. there was and the administration prior to mine was looking into buying new police cars, but it didn't happen. But so when we got in there, we purchased those police cars because there was a need for them. There was a need for the fire truck, which was like 40, I think 46 years old. We needed a fire truck because if your house catch a fire, you want a truck that can run to come to your house and help put that fire out. So yes, we bought a fire truck. We bought a backhoe because we needed that backhoe. We need everything we bought. We needed it. Yes, sir. I'm very proud to say yes. We purchased what we needed because no, and we didn't have a whole lot of money to work with, but what we had, we put it to use. Yes, we did. We needed things for our people. We needed things for our town to function well, and that's what we did. We looked into buying things that we needed. Yeah, I mean, if what's the use of having money and you're in need of things for your citizens and for your town? I mean, it's okay to have money. It's okay to have money. But when you're in need and you need items for your town and for the people and for your town to function well, you need to buy what you can buy that's needed.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So yes, I stand behind everything we bought during my administration.
One
Yes,
of
sir.
those things was that for the water system, Ms. Gordon? The
Sir?
computer system for the water system in Kentwood?
Yeah. Well, yes, sir. We dug a whole brand new well. We dug that well, and thank God that we was able to dig that well when we did, because when we had that 2016 flood, everything we had all went out.
Mr. Moderator,
Our water system just went.
For
So
the
we
rec-
had, ma'am, excuse me.
yeah, for the record there, speaking of the $40,000 computer system that David Sellers used to monitor the water, not the
Okay.
backhoes, the trucks. They're talking about the computerized system that was purchased to monitor the water.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that, Miss Antoinette.
Thank you for the
Yes,
clarity.
yes, sir. We bought that. We sure did because I felt a need for it because our schools would always we have to wait till morning. If we had a bad problem with our water, we would have to wait till morning before our superintendent could call and say no school. But with if it was a leak or something went wrong overnight or the pipes was frozen, we couldn't have water at the schools. So we decided that if we got that system with the new well or with our wells, that the school board could even call earlier because Mr. David would get something on his phone that would let him know these pipes are frozen. And we could immediately let our superintendent know that, our school board, and they can call school off as soon as possible. So yes, I stand behind what we bought for that new well, that system, that digital system that we could read. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mayor Bates, are you aware of whether or not if this system is being used today?
Yes, sir. And that
And
was a
does it
great
serve a
purchase.
purpose?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that was a great purchase because you don't have to wait till the water pressure gets so low. You, like she said, you get those alerts on that phone. They can go out and check that well. They can check the pumps. And what it does is it actually saves us from burning up pumps to where we have to go and purchase new pumps. And if the water pressure is low, he gets those alerts, and it's called a SCADA system. And it does work good for our community because if there's water pressure low, then they get that alert and they can go out and see what's going on. So that was a great purchase.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate your update for the current activity of that system. The next question goes into Ms. Armour. Will allow you to answer first to this. Mayor Bates had an opportunity earlier. As far as you've served as mayor before, and you've left a legacy as being mayor. What are you aware of that the citizens are saying about your legacy there as mayor?
Well, I'm aware that they're saying I did a great job, a good job. I get that a lot, but no one is perfect. Our administration that I served as mayor, we made some mistakes. but we worked hard to not make mistakes. And the mistakes that we knew we made, we talked about them, we discussed them, and we came back to work on correcting our mistakes. Um, I served as mayor for those 4 years, though I served as a council person for 20, mayor for 4. And in those 4 years, we accomplished so much together. There was no decision made from the mayor's desk that the council members did not know about, that did not come to the table. You can get more done when every item, every issue comes to the table and is discussed together as a team. And when I say a team, I mean the elected officials, that's the mayor, the council people, also the people in the office who are aware of a lot of things. You have to be on the same page. You have to know what is going on through communication to be able to get to progress, to get things done. Yes, sir. I would like to think that my legacy was a good. It's good. It's good. I will say this. I worked hard as mayor. The council members worked hard as council members, and we had the cooperation of our citizens. We had support. The staff worked hard. You know, it takes a lot of work to run City Hall. It takes a lot of work to run City Hall. It takes a whole lot of work to make sure the needs of the town is taken care of every day of the week, even on weekends. It's a lot to do. So it takes someone being on top of everything every day to stay up, and for our town to stay up.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
This is a question that's going to be posed for the two of you. Citizens want to know, and Ms. Gordon, you'll be given an opportunity to answer first, and then a rebuttal by Mr. Bates. What makes you the better candidate for mayor of Kentwood during this newly elected term?
What makes me the better mayor, the best candidate, is my years of experience, the fact that I've been around, I've traveled, I met a lot of people, a lot of elected officials. My experience of knowing when I ride around this town, what I see needs to be done. What I see we can do, we can work on, we can make better. I am available to ride around, to do all day. I am available to be there every day. I am available to stay on top of every issue every day. I'm available to return phone calls across the day. Anyone can come in to sit down to talk to me at any hour across the day. We need someone in City Hall every day to stay on top of everything for the town, for the needs of our people, for the needs of our town. I understand you can come in, Mayor, across today, but every hour that our City Hall is open, we need someone. We need someone. We have to stay on top of everything. We have to face everything head on every day. Shouldn't have to go home with things getting done across the day, overnight, that we can do across the day. If you get 50 phone calls, you must do your best to return 50. I mean, it just takes someone being there, staying on top of things every day, making sure that our town employees are there doing their job.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mayor Bates.
Just as has been said, experience makes me a better candidate. I think these last 4 years, where we have proven, number one, that we have strong leadership, we're smart in leadership, and we've been prepared, and we have a purpose and a passion, and we have created these partnerships that have been mentioned that will move Kentwood forward, and the integrity and the honesty that we have been displayed, that has been displayed over the past years, is foremost important to leading this community. And as I said earlier in my statement, when we kind of had that about what makes me the best candidate, it's experience matters in these times, and not just the experience, but good level-headed judgment, the things that we've put in and the work that we're willing to put in and have put in. And just because you don't see us does not mean we're not working hard for the community and for the citizens of Kentwood. And our agenda is rooted in purpose and in passion and true outcomes and advancement in those partnerships that I'm talking about. And I know that, like I said, we can do this through the dialogue and the communications and the discussions that we'll have when we sit down to the table and talk with each and every one.
Feedback.
As long as we have good, clear
Yeah,
discussions,
One
I'm here to
second,
echo.
Mayor Bates.
somebody has a
Does
phone ringing.
is someone close by with a phone ringing possibly?
I'm home alone, so not here.
Okay.
Sir, I'm on the phone. It's the only way I could get on. I couldn't get my iPad to work.
Okay, yours was ringing. Okay, no problem. We were just trying. We didn't know where it was coming from. Okay, sorry about
I'm
that.
sorry. I am totally sorry.
No problem. No problem.
And we all need to know that, once again, we're not always going to agree on everything, but through healthy dialogue and communication, perhaps we can come to an agreement on what's best for the citizens and all of the citizens for Kentwood. And our purpose will be empowering families that will impact our community in a positive manner through establishing and creating new businesses that will hopefully help improve the quality of life for all of our citizens here. And we need programs, like I said, that will help us develop our leaders of tomorrow, because we're not all going to be here, and tomorrow is not even promised to us. And that will help us be able to see the vision of Kentwood moving forward by empowering our younger people to be able to make decisions and teaching them and mentoring them how to handle business, not just at home, but city business, business with the schools, and anywhere that they go, that they'll be articulate and up to date on the things that they need to know. And then our passion will help us to make sure that we operate in excellence each and every day, because I'm passionate about Kentwood. Also, with that passion, we make sure that we have the processes that we're talking about streamlining, and make sure those protocols are in place. So when people come in, we know exactly what we need to do to assist the citizens of the citizens of Kentwood, and make sure they know what it is they want, how can we assist them. And we have to make sure we're in that customer service realm, that they know that we care and we have that empathy and sympathy for them. And then finally, the planning for our town. We don't have a city planner, and a lot of things happen here in Kentwood where people just put things up no matter what the ordinance is saying. So if we had a city planner, then we could lay this thing out to where businesses come in and we know exactly what's going on before those things even take place. So we have a lot of things that will make us the best candidate if we are elected again, that we can put in place. These 4 years have taught us a lot. We've learned a lot about city government. We've learned how to handle things in a positive manner. And once again, you can't lead with emotions. Emotions usually causes a lot of things to get out of whack. And sometimes you say things that you shouldn't say. And sometimes when those words go out, you can't mend those fences. So we have to be leading, even though we look like we're calm on the top like a duck, underneath the water, we're paddling like crazy to move Kentwood forward, because we have a lot of young people that we have invested in over the years, and we want to leave them with the best possible legacy that we can while in this position.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bates, for your answer there. You know, this is a debate, and it's some questions will be hard, but they need to be addressed. The first is this: is an implication there, and we want to be sure that we're taking this the right way, Ms. Garden. That you're implying that current Mayor Bates is not available in the office enough.
Yes, sir. I am implying that. You see, I sat on the council 20 years, mayor 4 years. I am used to a mayor being in City Hall. Now, the mayor's position is part-time. It's part-time. I think it's like 20 hours a week. We need a mayor in City Hall. We every day. I mean, the mayor is not there. Our head clerk is not there all of the time. I don't know how often, but I know it's not all the time. But so we have our other clerks in there working. But we need somebody in City Hall who can take care of the business of this town every day, who can talk to our people, our citizens every day. If our citizens have a problem and we need to come in there and sit down and talk to the mayor, they should be able to do that. I mean, sure, they can make an appointment, but when will that appointment take place? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need a mayor in City Hall every day. Or we need someone in City Hall every day who can handle the business of this town.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I am implying that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mayor Bates, with that implication there, how do you feel about that? And also being with what's in place with the requirements of being a mayor as part-time, your rebuttal to that implication, to be clear for the citizens of Kentwood.
The mayor's, to my knowledge, and I grew up here, the mayor's position has never been a full-time position. It was always manned by those who, number one, had jobs, they ran businesses, so it made them probably a little bit more able to go out to the city hall and do things. And we had a mayor who I know of who was at home on his sick bed and was never in the office. And that was during some of the 20 plus years that Ms. Gordon mentioned that she was there. So we haven't always had a mayor who sat in the office each and every single day to be able to be there. And being there every single day does not mean that you're going to move Kentwood forward. There were some things happen every day, as far as she has alluded to, by her being there. And it left us in a deficit. It left us with all of the things that people are saying. So just because you're there every day does not mean that you're doing the work that is vital and working on the right work for the town to move it forward. Can we be there more? Possibly. But once again, I alluded to the fact that now that we have a new position and the flexibility to do some things, yes, there's ways to handle that. But if being there every day means that you're going to have a better town, you can look at that all around the nation. They're having problems with mayors everywhere that are required to be there every day, and they get paid a whole lot of money to be there. So it does not mean that you're going to be in the office every day, meeting with everybody. And this is one of the places, and when you talk about small town politics, everybody knows that here in Kentwood, in the little small areas, everybody has access to the mayor via phone, text, come to your house any time of the day or night, and that's fine. But when you move to bigger municipalities, in which we're not, you don't have that kind of access. Miss Gordon doesn't have a bodyguard. I don't have a bodyguard. So we are approachable. So whenever we see anyone and we start talking about the town business, we're working. And just because you don't see me, don't mean I'm not on the phone talking to people about business. We have phone calls all day where I can stop and take the phone call and make sure that I'm working on the work for the town of Kentwood. Once again, just because you don't see me does not mean that I'm not working.
May I say something?
You may, Ms. Gordon, sure.
Okay.
And we'll
it may not mean what you said, but it means that our people will feel better. They will know better. They will know that we have a mayor in City Hall every day. Having a mayor in City Hall every day means a lot to our people and to our town. It means we can stay on top of issues every day. Example, our town looks trashy. It does. Our town can be cleaner, meaning, and it doesn't have to be the mayor all the time. It can be the council people as well. This administration, as a citizen of this town, talking about myself, as a former mayor, as a candidate right now for mayor, I can truly say We can do better. We can clean our town up. We can help our citizens to feel better about coming into City Hall, feel better about living here in Kentwood. We can do better, starting with having a mayor in City Hall, having a council who is active, who is visible. I don't have a problem with the mayor nor the council having full-time jobs. But what I do have a problem with, not staying on top of issues every day that we should be staying on top of every day. Now, Mayor Bates, you say you can keep that full-time job and do this full-time job too. I don't see how you can do both of them and do both of them well.
Well, this one is not a full-time job.
At the same time, excuse me, at the same time. Now I know you can do this and you can do that, when you can do this and when you can do that. So what our people need to understand is
10 seconds, Ms. Gordon. 10
we're
seconds.
putting before you, we are putting before our citizens in this town the fact that they can have a full-time mayor in City Hall, trying to stay on top of issues every day, trying to communicate and work, keeping the council informed, trying to keep our staff in City Hall and keep our employees on top of things, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do all day, every day. No, you said it doesn't mean, it means we can progress. It means we can communicate better. It means we can get more done. It means we can have respect back in Kentwood.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon.
Yeah, our people need
to have to stop at that moment, Ms. Gordon.
Excuse me. Okay.
I'm sorry, I understand, but thank you.
Yes, sir.
We want to move forward. Mayor Bates, do you have a small rebuttal? 15 seconds.
How many seconds?
15 seconds.
15 seconds. Brother Moderator, I hear all those things, but if that is all the case, and as a citizen, you see something need to be done, and we mentioned this earlier, let's do it. And just because we left City Hall does not mean we are not going to make sure Kentwood is moving forward. You can go by the things that you hear. You're picking up trash and you say, this is going to make the mayor look good. So you dump it out. So how is that conducive to moving Kentwood forward? And once again, we got to get out of our feelings about everything that's going on and make sure that we are accountable for what's going on. And I agree with that accountability, and make sure that we are doing what we need to do to move the town forward. And I don't know if being there 24 hours a day or 8 hours a day move the town any further than what it was before.
Moving on to the next issue, one question or a statement that has been submitted, Ms. Arma, is that you have been heavy-handed with citizens and people of the community in the past, as far as asking some or informing some that they may move if they didn't feel that things were going well in the meeting. And the question here is basically, do you too believe that heavy-handedness is needed to serve as mayor?
Heavy-handedness. Let me make sure I understand what you mean when you say that.
Okay, so the question here, or the statement that was made, was that at one point you asked someone that they had a question or an issue in a meeting, and that you told them that if they had an issue there, they didn't understand that they should move, meaning that they should leave the town of Kentwood. And it's been stated that you're heavy-handed with employees and citizens.
Okay, that's their version. They may call it heavy-handed. I call it taking care of the business of the town. Everyone in Kentwood knows how I am. I taught school 35 years. And like I just told you, I've been on council 20 and mayor 4. I haven't done all those years buddying people. I love meeting people. I love making friends. I love people, period. But when it comes to business, it's business. That's the way I am. I laugh, I joke, I have fun just like everybody else. But business is business, and I know how to separate. Okay? Yes, sir. One meeting, you're exactly right. One meeting, I did say that to a citizen, because that citizen came in wanting to take over the meeting, wanting to say what they wanted to say, the way they wanted to say it, and they couldn't see anything right about nothing, disturbing the council meeting. You cannot come into a council meeting and disturb it when you absolutely must have order. So after telling that citizen a couple times to calm down, get themselves together, they didn't want to do that. So I had the officer to come in to remove that person out of the meeting. I sure did. Yes, sir. Council meetings must have order. If you have a question, raise your hand. So, and I think the hand was raised, the question was asked, an answer was given, but there wasn't an answer that they wanted. So then they're going to disturb and clown in the meeting. No, sir, it doesn't go that way. I want people understand Irma Gordon. They know I mean what I say, and I say what I mean in a respectful way. Yes, sir. When it comes to handling the business of this town, it's no joke. You have to handle the business of the town. And you can handle it, and you can handle the business of the town, and you can talk to our people in a respectful way. Yes, sir. She kept going on and on and on. So I told her, that person kept saying, I don't like this and I don't like that about Kentwood this and Kentwood that. Okay, yes, sir. I said, okay then. You know if you don't like Kentwood? Because Kentwood is Kentwood. We all live here. We know how we are. So if you don't like Kentwood and you don't like it that well, if you hate it that much, this is what I said. I wouldn't live nowhere that I hate as bad as you hate this place. You're saying you hate this place. I wouldn't live there. That's what I said. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you do believe or stand by that it's okay to tell someone to move out?
No, yes. It is not okay to tell someone to move out. No, sir. We need everybody we have here in Kentwood. We need everybody working together to try to keep our town going forward. Okay. No, I don't want nobody to move out of Kentwood. We need more people to come into Kentwood to help us do what we need to do.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. I appreciate that.
Let me add this. May I add this? I love everybody in Kentwood. That's just the way I am.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Thank you, Mayor Gordon.
Even the person that night, I love that person too. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Mayor Bates, do you agree or do you think that heavy-handedness is needed in being in the mayor's seat there in the town of Kentwood?
Brother Moderator, what I do believe is you have to have a good balance of, as she said, say what you mean and mean what you say, but you also have to have some of that empathy and that sympathy. Some think I may be too soft. So on the flip side of that, they're saying that she was heavy-handed. I don't think they like either one of the ways. So we are, like she said, we are the people that you get. We are the people that you're electing. And yes, we have to find a medium road. But as far as heavy-handedness, no, I don't believe that is the way. But we have to have a good balance of being able to express ourselves and allow the citizens to express themselves. And then we have a mutual respect for them. And we have that, like I said, that healthy dialogue to where we can come to an agreement. You may not like it, but if we have that healthy dialogue, and it takes a lot to sit to the table when another person is angry, but you have to be that calming person that can sit there, calm them down. Let's talk about your problem. Let's see how we can help you or help this town move forward in that particular situation. And I think I possess those skills to calm down any situation and help the citizens of Kentwood with any problem that they have.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Bates. Moving along, question is coming to into our queue here is about dividing the town of Kentwood into districts. How do you all feel about that, dividing the town of Kentwood into districts and then possibly assigning someone to each district, for instance, councilman, councilwoman? Mayor Bates?
Well, if you're going to do the dividing the town into districts and assigning people to those particular sections of town, that's probably something that's easy to do. But is it counterproductive to all of the council members being able to know what's going on in all areas? And once again, if you don't have them coming to that particular area, will they ever come to that side of town and see how the citizens over there and have dialogue with those citizens in that particular district, that particular zoned area? So I don't know if I would be in favor of it. That would be something that the board would have to agree upon and get that done in that manner. But if you're talking about doing it from a legal standpoint, then you would look at particular areas voting for a candidate, and you just never know. You wash down or water down those votes and the number of votes for that particular district or that particular area. So I think it works best for Kentwood because we're a small population to have those councilmen at large and make them responsible for the entire Kentwood and not just one particular area.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did we lose Miss Gordon, Miss Harrell, that you're aware of?
Yes, it appeared to be so. Let's give a few seconds to come back on, but it appeared to be so.
Okay. Well, we'll go to one more question here, Mayor Bates. Just back to transparency. As far as the citizens of Kentwood goes, something that is important is, we've talked about emotions, we've talked about heavy-handedness, maybe not being heavy-handed enough. Where does transparency play a role here? Do you think that the people in Kentwood just do not understand, or isn't transparent enough from City Hall that they know exactly what's going on? Can that be improved with the citizens? What's your outlook on that?
Well, and when you talk about transparency, and that is a word that was tossed around by council members, and we alluded to the communication piece. And once we make a decision inside of the council chambers, and if those citizens are not there, if we don't have a newsletter, if we don't have the ability to communicate with them, they elected officials to help keep them abreast of what's going on in the town of Kentwood. They may say that we did not communicate these things with them. However, you're talking about the mayor's job being a full-time job and being more available to the citizens and in City Hall. But that is incumbent upon the council members also to visit City Hall, to get information, to come by and see what's going on so that they can keep those citizens abreast who elected them also, just as they elected the mayor, and for the mayor to keep them abreast of things. I think the transparency during my tenure has been there. And once again, any record, any official record that goes into the City Hall, that is a matter of public knowledge. You can request those records, and that creates some of that transparency. And if they're just talking about communication, once again, that goes both ways.
Thank you. We certainly appreciate it. Any communication from Ms. Gordon, Ms. Harrell? None? Okay. So at this time, we want to allow you an opportunity, Mayor Bates, to give a closing statement to the citizens of Kentwood, and then we will end our discussion or our debate tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to be able to address the questions and the issues on the account of not being very visible. Once again, just because you don't see me does not mean I'm not here. I'm not working. I frequent all of the establishments here in our city, and I work hard. I think that we have established some relationships, not just here in our local area, but throughout the state and the Baton Rouge with the Capital Region Planning Commission, who is helping us with revitalizing downtown and being able to sit and converse with many different people on many different levels to get things done. I was just in the Tangipahoa Parish Council chambers with all of the things that are coming down with our highways and what they're planning to do with the I-12 corridor. So that is information that, you get invited to the table. You have to be able to disseminate that information, be able to talk to the people and have a good, healthy dialogue with them. So once you establish those relationships, they'll come to Kentwood and see what you need to have done. And I think I've been open and transparent, maybe not heavy-handed enough. Maybe people think that I'm too lax, but I do know this, that when you talk to people, not just here in Kentwood, but also from the parish, from the state, they appreciate how I address matters, how I can converse with them at different levels. And I think that goes a long way to being the face of Kentwood. And I appreciate the opportunity to have had to be the mayor and the face of the town of Kentwood for the past 4 years. I pray that I have served well, and I believe that nothing that I've done was to hurt anyone. Nothing that I have done has put us in a bad position or a bad light with those other officials who look to come here and to do business with the town of Kentwood. I think that we're in a better place than where we were when I took over 4 years ago financially. I think we're in a better place through our racial barriers that we had to overcome. I think we do a better job in City Hall with dealing with the public, and we still have a long way to go in addressing those processes and procedures and the things that are going there. I just know that if elected again, I know that I will learn, and I have learned from my mistakes. You want me to be more vocal, you want me to do this, but in being more vocal, and once we say those things, your version of being more vocal does not always equate to how I am and how I'm going to handle situations. We all handle them differently. And what I try not to do is lead from emotions, because when you get emotions involved in making decisions, you hurt people. You hurt people's feelings. Matter of fact, you do things that you wouldn't normally do when you're in your rational sense of mind. And we do get heated there, and it does get emotional, but we never want to make a decision from the standpoint of working on our emotions. And I think that we have bettered the town both fiscally. We have bettered the town through our processes and procedures with our maintenance department, through our upgrades and wanting to upgrade our system in the office with the utility billing system, and all of those things that we're talking about. We're moving to the process of keeping track of how we do our work order, so we can account for every piece of pipe that we've used, where we used it. When a job is done, we're getting those iPads for our workers. So when that job is done, they send that and say it's done, and we have an electronic copy of it there, and they must sign off that this job is done. And we have a lot of ideas for the future to move Kentwood forward, and it's not going to be easy. There's going to be some hard decisions that have to be made regarding those processes and procedures. And once again, everybody is not going to understand nor like the decisions that are made. But I do believe that we have made and will make, if elected again, the right decision that will affect this town, not just for now, but for the future and beyond, so that we can leave a positive legacy and a good town for our younger people who are coming in, who are our future leaders. Because guess what? We all getting old, ain't no doubt about that. So when they're in leadership position, they will understand how to handle business, how to talk to people, how to address our older citizens' needs, our younger people. And you do that through leading by example. And hopefully and prayerfully, I've been a good example for the town of Kentwood. And moving forward, hopefully I can continue to be a good example and a good leader for the town of Kentwood.
All right. Thank you so much, Mayor Bates, for your words this evening, for your involvement today in this mayoral debate for candidacy here. You know, the people are grateful to you. The people are grateful for Miss Irma Gordon, former mayor, and her involvement as well for this debate. It's good when you can talk about it. It's good when you can discuss issues on that level. And we're grateful that everyone was able to join in with us for this, working together to make a difference. Ms. Harrell and Friends of Kentwood, we certainly want to thank each of you for being with us and putting this mayoral debate on.
Mr. Moderator, Ms. Gordon is back. I guess we can give her that opportunity to have a closeout statement. Could you please turn your phone down if you could, Ms. Gordon?
Turn it down. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Bates just had his closeout statement. Can you do the same, please?
I need to write, huh?
Can you maybe hold it in your hand, maybe?
Yeah, what I did, I put her on mute until she can get situated. But
okay, let's
on
try
behalf of Friends of Kentwood, I would like to thank both incumbents for being a part of this debate tonight. And certainly, I would like to thank the moderator for doing an excellent job, as always. And to all the people that joined us on Friends of Kentwood, we want to thank you all for just hearing what Voting Commons has to say. And remember that your vote count. And before closing, I would like to ask that each candidate put your number out there, and certainly ask people to get out to the polls. That's what this is about. So let's go ahead and give it to Miss Gordon. Let her make her closing statement as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm sorry again. It's my iPad is acting up. I'm very sorry. I had to go to my phone, back to my iPad, back to my phone. So I apologize for that. I'm very sorry. Okay, so I'm supposed to give a summary closing.
Yes, ma'am. Closing statement. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I would just like to say in my summary in closing to our Kentwood citizen, please get out on December 10th and vote. And vote for a better Kentwood, improving Kentwood. Vote for what you want Kentwood to be and do in your eyesight. I can tell you this, if I am elected your next mayor, I will be there. I will be in City Hall. I will do my very best to stay on top of things, on top of issues. I will do my very best to revamp what needs to be revamped. We have a good bit that needs to be done. In order to get it done, we need somebody there. I'm willing to be there. I'm willing to help. I've said this and I'm going to say it again. Yes, I am retired. And yes, I love retirement life. But I also love this town and I love the people of this town. I'm going to live here. When I die, I hope it be right here in Kentwood. I'm not going anywhere. So as long as I have breath in my body, I am going to work. I am going to serve. I am going to do my best to do what I can as a citizen, as an elected official, as a caring person to help. To help. And I won't be doing nothing that all of us as citizens need to be doing. We need to help with issues. We need to help with what needs to be done because we live here. Our town is a small town, but our town should be a small model town in the state of Louisiana. We should be like the best little town in Louisiana. We can be. With all of us working together, with that line of communication open, with us respecting each other, with us having in place what we need to have in place, workers, policies, laws, we can be what we want to be. But we got to start by having someone in City Hall who can stay on top of issues every day. Yeah, every day. And see, I'm not used to us not having a mayor in City Hall. I'm not used to us having a mayor have to run from this job to this job. I'm not used to that.
Ms. Gordon,
Yes,
this is the time to use for the closing statement to ask people to come out and support you or the Mayor Bates. So we're giving you all that time to do that.
Yep. Go ahead and state your
Yes,
number
ma'am.
for us, Ms. Gordon.
My number is number 73. And for the primary, we had a 50.6 turnout of our voters. I'm asking our people to get out and vote December 10th so we can have a turnout. This general election, we will not have so much on the ballot as we had last time. But what we have on there is very important. I ask you to get out and vote for a better Kentwood. I am Irma Thompson Gordon, and my number is 73. I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Gann, for this evening.
Certainly.
Mayor Bates, did you put out your number? Did you?
I won't do that at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted now, Mr. Mayor Bates.
I can do that now if allowed. Rochelle Bates, number 71 on your ballot. We're asking for your vote. And just like Ms. Gordon has echoed, we would like for you to come out and vote. It's imperative that our people and our citizens get out and vote for the candidate that you want to be in your next mayor's role and position at City Hall. And I am asking for your vote. I appreciate that you have elected me for the past 4 years. And I want you to know that I am extremely proud of you and I'm proud of Kentwood. Get out and vote on December the 10th, number 71, Rochelle Bates for mayor.
All right. Thank you, Mayor
Mr.
Bates.
Moderator, so the people have heard it, and I hope that we did our best to get all the questions in. We just asking people to get to the poll. You have heard from both of the candidates on the issues that is dear to your heart, and please keep these issues in your heart, in your mind when you go to the voting poll to vote to choose the best qualified candidate to lead Kentwood into the next 4 years. There's a lot happening in Kentwood. There's a lot of growth in Kentwood with the new library opening up very December 3rd. New businesses coming in town. We're headed into a new direction. I agree with what I heard with both candidates tonight, Mr. Commentator, about the direction that we're going in and what it would take to move Kentwood forward. It's going to take skills and knowledge and just being, I have to agree that it's not how many hours we put in, it's what we do with those hours as well. So that's another thing. So I certainly want to say to both candidates, we wish you all the best. And to the people, we're going to hold all our elected officials accountable. It's just not the elected officials, but there's a job for the people to do. Mr. Commentator, let me hear what you have to say about all that you heard tonight.
Certainly, a lot of great things. I believe that certain issues were addressed that needed to be addressed, Ms. Harrell. One thing that I would encourage to the citizens of Kentwood is three things: be knowledgeable, be informed, and be involved. Many times we can go by word of mouth, things that we've heard, but if we are knowledgeable of what is actually going on in our communities, if we are informed of what's going on in our communities, and if we are involved in what's happening, that is where you can make a sound decision. That is where you can make a decision that's going to support your decision and what you want for your community. I would advise that to anyone that's going to be going out and preparing for December 10th. Both candidates have answered all questions completely. Both candidates have been cooperative throughout this entire process, even when we were doing our initial forums. We're grateful and we're thankful to each of you for that, and we wish you both the best.
Mr. Moderator, I also want to point out too that what I really observed tonight was the respect that each candidate had for each other. That was very good because sometimes debates can, people attack a person's character more than they attack the work that's being done. So I was really happy to see that both candidates, reserved that and kept that respect in there because people are watching, and sometimes
Yeah, yeah.
people are looking for those things that can basically tear it down. But I just want to say my hats off to both candidates for
Mhm.
basically respecting each other so much not to attack the character. But it is a crucial election, and this election is very important. And I do know that sometimes we see less people get out to the polls for the second time around. So encouraging people to go out to the polls, please. It's early voting. Let there not be any excuse for you to exercise that right to vote. And so they have to do their part. So we're looking for a new Kentwood, and I can basically say, Mr. Moderator, I live in Kentwood, and I would like to see some changes all around. And I think that as we come to those roundtable discussions, what we can do for better leadership, and that's all it is. We learn as we go along, and we move along. So tonight, I just want to thank everyone for coming out just to hear tonight. It's our first mayoral debate that I know of, and hopefully the next 4 years it can only get better.
Yeah, certainly. That's definitely what we're looking for. That as this is how we're informed. That portion that we talked about. This is how the public is informed. This is how people become knowledgeable. This is definitely one of those ways that you do so. So hats off to everyone. We're getting a few technical difficulties, so we'll prepare at this point to end our conversation live. Certainly, we want everyone to come out and participate on December the 10th.
All right. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you much.
Good night. Thank you both.